Minister McKnight, honored guests, Chief Sarrazin, Councilmember Tenasco, veterans, members of the Canadian Armed Forces, families, friends, students, cadets, and those joining us virtually, welcome. Je m'appelle Pascal Guindon et je suis une ancienne membre de la réserve navale des Forces armées canadiennes. Cet après-midi, j'ai l'honneur d'agir à titre de maîtresse de cérémonie alors que nous nous réunissons pour cette cérémonie spéciale d'inauguration des travaux du monument commémoratif national de la mission du Canada en Afghanistan. To begin, I acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional unceded territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people. As guests on this land, we are honored to gather here today, and we thank all the generations of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people who have and continue to care for the rivers that sustain life, the trees that shade us, and the paths that connect us. Je tiens à souligner que nous sommes réunis sur le territoire traditionnel non cédé du peuple algonquin Anishinaabe. En tant qu'invités, nous sommes honorés de nous rassembler ici aujourd'hui et nous remercions toutes les générations du peuple algonquin Anishinaabe qui continuent de prendre soin des rivières qui entretiennent la vie, des arbres qui nous offrent leur ombre et des chemins qui nous relient. If you are able, please stand for the national anthem performed today by members of the Central Band of the Canadian Armed Forces. Si vous en êtes capable, veuillez vous lever pour l'hymne national. Merci, please be seated. It's now my pleasure to invite Chief Greg Sarrazin of the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan First Nation to offer words of welcome.
Kwekwe and Pajashin. Hello and welcome everyone. Today we are gathered on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people, where the Algonquin nation has existed since time immemorial. As Chief of the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan First Nation, I bring greetings and offer respect to the land, the water, and all those who have come before us. It is an honor to stand with you today on this important occasion, the groundbreaking for the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan. Today, we come together to recognize and remember the service and sacrifice of Canadians who served in Afghanistan, members of the Canadian Armed Forces, and all those who answered the call in a time of need. Many did not return home, and many more carry the lasting impacts of their service. We honor their courage, their commitment, and their families who stood beside them. This monument will be a place of reflection, of learning, and of remembrance. For future generations, it will tell the story about duty, about resilience, and about the cost of peace. As First Nations people, we understand deeply the importance of remembrance. Our teaching remind us to carry forward the stories of those who came before us. This monument will help ensure that the legacy of those who served in Afghanistan is never forgotten. On behalf of the Algonquin-Zipiquaquanigan First Nation, I offer gratitude to all who served, and I extend our thoughts to the families and loved ones who continue to carry that legacy every day. May this place stand as a lasting symbol of respect, of remembrance, and unity. Miigwech. Thank you.
Chief Sarrazin, miigwech, merci à vous. I now welcome Council Member Anita Tanasko to offer words of welcome on behalf of Kitigan-Zibi Anishinabeg First Nation.
Kwei kakina. Hello everyone. Pijashig. Welcome all. Welcome to the traditional unceded territory of my nation, the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation. The site of this monument is located in a very important sacred area for the Anishinaabe Algonquin peoples. Akikojuan, the boiling pot, or Chaudière Falls, is located to my right. And this area has always been so sacred to our people. In our history, we would stop here and make offerings. We would lay down tobacco to the waters, to the land, to this important area for our nation. This is where we have always gathered along our highway, the Kichizibi, the Ottawa River. So it is very fitting that this monument here to honor Canada's mission in Afghanistan and everyone who has worked to keep Canada safe in our history, in our collective history within this war museum. It's important that we come together, we work together, that we collaborate to honor our collective histories. On behalf of the Kitigan-Zibi Anishinabeg, it's an honor to be here today to be a part of this groundbreaking ceremony. I'm also employed at Algonquin College as the Director of Indigenous Initiatives. And at the college, we serve over 1,100 Indigenous students. And many of our students are looking to engage with the military, with employers here in Ottawa, with businesses. So I ask everyone here today to reflect on the Anishinaabe Algonquin peoples, Indigenous students in the city, Indigenous peoples in the military now and into the future. Miigwech, thank you.
Miigwech, thank you, Anita. Between 2001 and 2014, more than 40,000 Canadians in uniform served in Canada's mission in Afghanistan. Alongside them, civilians and government personnel contributed in many ways. Au cours de cette mission, le plus long déploiement de combat de l'histoire du Canada, 158 membres des forces armées canadiennes et 7 civils ont perdu la vie. Des milliers d'autres personnes sont rentrées au pays avec des blessures physiques et psychologiques. This ceremony marks a significant milestone. The transition to the beginning of the construction phase of the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan. The monument will honor the 158 Canadian Armed Forces personnel and 7 civilians who lost their lives while serving in Afghanistan. It will also recognize the service and sacrifice of all who contributed to the mission, as well as the support of families, peers, and communities here at home. I now invite Lieutenant Catherine Walker Canadian Armed Forces chaplain, to guide us in a moment of reflection.
Today, we confront something difficult. The task of giving form to an experience that, for many, still resists understanding. Strategic military force is, in one sense, clear to us. We study it, we plan it, we train for it. It has doctrine, logistics, and objectives. In this sense, it is comprehensive. It is an undertaking that we can organize and resource and direct. But anyone who has lived it knows another truth, that it is also deeply and relentlessly disorienting. The ground shifts, the mission evolves. Allies and adversaries are not always well defined. The course of action that seemed clear enough at one point becomes impossible. In a village, on a road, in the dark. Le service en Afghanistan a exigé à nos membres une discipline, une humanité et un dévouement extraordinaire face à une complexité sans précédent. Over 150 Canadians did not come home. Thousands more returned carrying wounds, visible and invisible, that remain with them today. And countless families were reshaped by absence, worry, grief, and the long work of reintegration. How do you build a monument to all of that? You do exactly what we are doing here together today. You create a place where the complexity doesn't have to be resolved, where it can just simply be. A place where a veteran can stand in silence and know that the nation acknowledges what was asked of them. A place where a family can bring their children and say, this mattered. They mattered. Un lieu où la mémoire, le deuil et les fiertés disent simplement, nous n'oublions pas. The men and women who served in Afghanistan carried contradiction every single day. The simultaneous duty to protect and to destroy, to build trust and remain vigilant, to believe in the mission and to question it. They did not have the luxury of clarity. They deserve a nation willing to sit with that same complexity rather than look away from it. And this is the work that is being done here today. Ils méritent notre mémoire, notre respect et le courage d'une nation qui se souvient de la vérité complexe de leur service. So, today, as we turn this ground, we make a commitment not to have all the answers, but to keep showing up for those who serve. To let this place become what it needs to be in all the directions, stone by stone, name by name, story by story. May it be so, let it be so. Thank you. Merci.
Oui, merci pour vos mots, lieutenant de vaisseau Walker. J'ai maintenant le privilège d'inviter l'honorable Jill McKnight, ministre des Anciens combattants et ministre associé de la Défense nationale, à prendre la parole. Minister McKnight, I invite you to the podium.
Merci, bonjour à tous. Hello, everyone. It is fitting that joining us today are veterans, members of the Canadian Armed Forces and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, family members, friends, dignitaries, and colleagues. Cela reflète la communauté qui soutient tous ceux et celles qui ont servi et continuent de servir le Canada. Today is a profoundly meaningful day. It carries with it a deep sense of reflection and remembrance. In 2024, this site was blessed by the Pikwakanagan and Kitigan Zibi Anishinaabe First Nations. The blessing was a spiritual ritual toward the land and a manifestation of the respect, gratitude, and responsibility that we have towards those who will forever be memorialized on the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan. De 2001 à 2014, plus de 40 000 Canadiens ont servi en Afghanistan, la mission militaire plus longue de notre histoire. Some of you joining us today served during this mission. Vous avez accompli vos devoirs dans un environnement dangereux, avec courage et détermination. Aujourd'hui et chaque jour, nous honorons votre service. To the families here and those watching across Canada, your strength and support made that service possible. With quiet and enduring strength, you sustained those who served from afar, all while navigating your own uncertainty. Your contributions and steady support are intertwined with this mission, and we thank you. Over the course of this mission, 158 Canadian soldiers and 7 civilians gave their lives. Each of them is remembered not only for how they died, but for how they lived, for their commitment, their values, and their sense of duty. Today, their legacy endures through their families, friends, and communities. As a nation, we remain forever grateful for their sacrifice. It is because of this sacrifice and the service of more than 40,000 Canadians who served during the mission in Afghanistan that we are gathered today. Over the next 2 years, this site will be transformed. Through stone and steel, it becomes a place of solemn reflection, a space where all Canadians can embrace our sacred duty to remember those who served in Afghanistan, those who supported the mission from home, and those who gave their lives. Un lieu de mémoire, un lieu de respect, un lieu pour se souvenir de 165 vies qu'on ne va jamais oublier. As we break ground and mark the start of construction of the monument, we also find ourselves at a pivotal moment as a nation. With the international order shifting and global uncertainty on the rise, the importance of service and of remembering that service takes on a renewed importance. Commemoration is not only about the past, it is a responsibility we, as a government and as a country, must carry forward together. For our youth, this responsibility is yours too. The footprints you leave on this ground mark the beginning of your connection to this place and to the stories it will hold. You are becoming part of a living legacy, one that calls on each generation to remember, to reflect, and to become the keepers of the stories for those who will follow. En honorant ces histoires, nous affirmons que leur courage continue de guider notre pays. In doing so, you help ensure that the service and sacrifice we honor here today will never be forgotten. The mission may have ended, but the contributions of the 40,000 Canadians who served will always endure in the memory of a grateful nation. Lest we forget, n'oublions jamais.
Thank you, Minister McKnight. It's now my pleasure to welcome Adrian Stimson, the artist behind the monument's design, to speak on behalf of Team Stimson.
Ukinuksukwa, Kwekwe, Salam Alaikum, Bonjour, and good afternoon, families of the fallen, honorable ministers, deputy ministers, councillors, board chairs, veterans, distinguished guests, youth, friends, and family. On behalf of Team Stimson, we acknowledge and are honored to be standing on the ground of the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation. Thank you, Chief Sarrazin and Councillor Tanasko, for welcoming us so warmly. Team Stimson is Christine Liu and Alan Webb of Liu Webb Projects, Jana Joyce, Graham Carr, and their team at MBTW Group, Happy Grove, Myrna Youngman, studio assistants, and elder and veteran Clarence Wolflag, our cultural and spiritual leader. We once again express our deepest appreciation for the honor of creating this national monument. We are more than just Team Stimson. We would like to thank Veterans Affairs, the families, the National Capital Commission, contractors, consultants, and all who participated in its realization. Together, we have come this far. Today, we break ground and begin the next chapter. Together with the builders, we will continue to approach this monument in a good way. We look forward to the process that lies ahead in making this vision a reality for all Canadians. Our intention for this monument was to create a safe, sacred space that not only honors the fallen, but those who survived, a home base to remember, to heal, to give gratitude, and to connect with each other. It is a testament to Canada's mission of providing the Afghanistan people and government security, aid, reconstruction, and friendship. Our design journey is complete, and we now embark on turning the vision into a physical reality. This monument will serve as a lasting tribute to the commitment and sacrifice of the 158 Armed Forces members and 7 civilians who gave their lives in helping to rebuild Afghanistan. To the veterans who gave so much of themselves for a better future. They are a living testament to the value of serving your nation. To the families whose sorrow we acknowledge. A place for them to heal. To the Afghan allies and people, we will always remember your sacrifices and trust that there will be a better future. And to all Canadians, let this be a place where we demonstrate that our diversity is our strength and that unity overcomes division and hatred. The Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan is an important moment in Canadian and Afghan history. This place will become a space where we honor the fallen soldiers and civilians, a space where all Canadians can reflect upon the emotional, spiritual, physical, and intellectual nature of the conflict. And through that, to seek balance and healing for us all, with humility as we break the ground, lest we forget.
Oui, merci, M. Stimson. Nos invités de marque nous ont rappelé avec éloquence que le monument commémoratif national de la mission du Canada en Afghanistan servira de symbole de respect et de souvenir pour tous ceux et celles qui ont contribué à cette mission, de même que le soutien qui leur a été apporté par leur famille, leurs pairs et leur collectivité au pays. Afin de rendre hommage à la conception du monument, nous procéderons à une cérémonie symbolique de première pelletée de terre à chacun des 4 portails ainsi qu'au socle central. Nous vous demandons de bien vouloir attendre que nous finissions les 5 premières pelletées de terre avant d'applaudir. To honor the monument's design, we will proceed with a symbolic groundbreaking at each of the 4 directional portals and at the center plinth. Dignitaries will be met at each of the portals and the center by local cadets and students from Glebe Collegiate Institute. We kindly ask that applause be held until all 5 stations are complete. J'invite maintenant Sherry Romanado, secrétaire parlementaire du ministre de la Défense nationale, et le brigadier général Serge Ménard à s'approcher de la station Nord. Le Nord est associé à la naissance et à l'intellect. Il symbolise les connaissances et l'apprentissage. Le portail Nord met en lumière les raisons intellectuelles qui expliquent pourquoi nous partons en guerre et aident les visiteurs de mieux comprendre le rôle du Canada dans la mission. The North Portal demonstrates the commitment of those who served to help stabilize Afghanistan and protect its people. It also shows Canada's dedication to international security and humanitarian values. I now invite you to break ground at the North Portal. Parliamentary Secretary Romanado, Brigadier General Menard, please return to your seats as we reflect on the intellectual portal. The Honourable Gary Anandasangaree, Minister of Public Safety, and Corps Sergeant Major Elaine Maisonneuve of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, I invite you to approach Station South. The South is about acknowledging our spiritual natures. It encourages visitors to think about the connection of the spirit and the importance it has in remembrance and recognition. Ce portail offrira un espace de réflexion sur la spiritualité, la foi et l'identité, et incitera les visiteurs à réfléchir aux liens entre le monde spirituel et l'importance qu'il revêt dans le souvenir et la reconnaissance. Je vous invite maintenant à lever la première pelletée de terre au portail sud. Minister Anandasangaree, Corps Sergeant Major Maisonneuve, I ask you to return to your seats as we reflect on the spiritual portal. J'invite l'honorable Marc Miller, ministre de l'Identité et de la Culture canadienne et ministre responsable des langues officielles, et Monsieur Toby Nussbaum, premier dirigeant de la Commission de la capitale nationale, à s'approcher de Station Ouest. L'Ouest représente l'être physique. Le portail Ouest sera axé sur la reconnaissance des vétérans. Les visiteurs sont encouragés à songer non seulement à celles et ceux qui ont perdu la vie, mais aussi aux survivantes et aux survivants. The West Portal recognizes those who were wounded in the conflict, especially those who are continuing to deal with those injuries today. This portal encourages visitors to think not only about those who were lost, but also those who survived. I now invite you to break ground at the West Portal. Monsieur le ministre Miller, Monsieur Nussbaum, je vous invite à reprendre vos places tandis que nous prenons un moment de réflexion au sujet du portail physique. I now invite the Honorable Jill McKnight, Minister of Veterans Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defense, and Colonel Tella Morrison, a veteran of Canada's mission to Afghanistan, to approach Station East. The East is a portal dedicated to emotions. The East is where the sun rises and is often associated with childhood. It will focus on the emotional well-being of those who served and continue to serve, and the families and friends who supported them from home. Ce portail est axé sur le bien-être de ceux et celles qui ont servi et qui continuent de servir, ainsi que les familles et amis qui ont soutenu ces personnes depuis le foyer. I now invite you to break ground at the East Portal. Prenons un moment de réflexion au sujet du portail émotionnel. Minister McKnight, Colonel Morrison, please approach the final station at the center of the monument site. And as they do so, I also invite Parliamentary Secretary Romanado, Minister Anandasangaree, Corps Sergeant Major Maisonneuve, Minister Miller, Mr. Nussbaum, Chief Sarrazin, Council Member Tenasco, and Mr. Stimson to join Minister McKnight at the center of the monument site for the final groundbreaking. Au centre du monument s'élèvera un socle de granit gravé de 13 feuilles d'érable représentant les provinces, les territoires et les 13 années de la mission. La carte de l'Afghanistan sera également gravée au centre du socle. Surrounding the plinth, 4 bronze flak jackets and helmets will be placed. These elements suggest protection and represent everyone who served in the Afghanistan mission, both military and civilian. It will be a quiet space for reflection, a sanctuary, a place to learn, to understand, to heal, and to remember. Le monument s'agira d'un lieu calme et propice au recueillement, un sanctuaire, un lieu pour apprendre, pour comprendre, pour guérir et pour se souvenir. Minister McKnight, please lead the group in breaking the ground at the center plinth of the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan. Je vous demanderai de reprendre vos places, tandis que nous prenons collectivement un dernier moment de réflexion. Je tiens à remercier tout particulièrement notre joueur de cornemuse, le caporal-chef James Gendron, vétéran de la mission en Afghanistan. As this concludes today's ceremony, thank you all for joining us, both in person and online. N'oublions jamais les sacrifices de nos disparus, de nos vétérans et de tous les personnels qui ont apporté leur contribution à la mission du Canada en Afghanistan. Thank you. Merci à toutes et à tous. Miigwech.